Live. Oh, look, a bird.
I had a brilliant point, Christian, and it was about how old I am and how long I've been doing this, and it just floated right out of my head. So, case in point.
Well, look, all I can say is this: it was so epic. I'm so sorry everybody missed that. Tune in next time to be able to get what you remembered in episode 2. So, look, I'm sure it'll come back to you, and we'll have a great insert for that. But meanwhile, let's kind of shift right to the topic at hand. Everyone's talking about it. It's impacting everybody, regardless of what's going on in the world and where you're doing, what your job is. There's not a person that doesn't have an impact to them around the coronavirus. So in the contact center world specifically, there's the requirement for some to be able to work remote, right? And in some situations, some companies are having challenges in those areas. And separate from that, there's the reality that technology may not be great remote. You may have your whole family and kids at home with you. So it's a very challenging time for a lot of companies, but right now are probably scrambling because it's the first time they've probably ever put a plan in play. What have you been able to see and analyze, and what companies have started to act on or not throughout this time?
What have they started to act on?
Yeah, have they done anything in particular that you're seeing as a trend around how they're responding to this?
Yeah, so obviously everybody's at home now, right? Globally, I'm unaware of a market today that I have a client in that isn't in some sort of a stay where you are scenario or go home and work scenario. So everybody has been scrambling to set that up and get into that work at home mode. Clearly, those that already have gone into like cloud technology and already had outside access set up for some element of work at home prior to this made that transition smoother than others. And so we have, prospects and clients and partners within the gamut of that. I think everybody now is seeing some bandwidth issues and some internet connectivity quality issues since we've all gone home to work. That's even more exacerbated and a bigger challenge for some of our international clients. Mm-hmm. So for the most part, I think things feel a little strained here in the US. I've been trying to log into conference calls in the last week and a half and, getting fast, busy signals and having to dial in multiple times to get through. And my connectivity feels a little up and down. But for clients that we have in the Philippines and in India, a lot of their staff, they don't even have connectivity at home. Mm-hmm. So there's been a lot of scrambling and a lot of creativity that has been going into trying to manage this entire situation globally. We have some business partners, one business partner that literally rented an entire hotel out in the Philippines so that they could literally put their employees and family in quarantine there and could keep them working and online. We know other large BPOs in the Philippines that have actually put housing in to their corporate office. So that's a market where they've had in some of the larger cities limited mobility allowed. And again, dealing with some of the connectivity challenges for the work at home is a whole new thing. And when you get outside of the technology of transitioning to work at home, not everybody does it well, right? So sometimes your top producers go home and it's not a great fit anymore. And if you don't have a team seasoned in managing remotely, this is becoming a challenge. So getting everybody plugged in kind of feels like it was step one in the last week and a half. Now it's making sure that the wheels stay on track and they're not all just working they're not just home plugged in, but they're working effectively, right? So lots of new challenges. So I think this will create a larger work at home map permanently within the contact center space now. now that people have had to go through the process of technology wise setting that up, I think we'll see a larger work at home pool in this market, even when all of this is done. And that kind of excites us because a lot of research says that really opens up a different quality of agent. And so I think it's going to have a long-term lasting impact on business.
Yeah, I think when you start engaging a different person that not only performs better remotely, but access to people, it's really, you're limited by whether or not they can get connected, right? Because at that point, you're not just living within the centers of where you actually have a pool of people to pick from. You're able to pull different people from different parts of the country and the world. But separate from that, you also are able to look at you had mentioned someone who's maybe good at voice, may not be good at web chat, but you may not have to have someone that does web chat in the office. And you may not have to have them for voice or vice versa. So I think you're right that it's going to be interesting seeing what things people are doing right now to deal with everything that's going on and what is going to stay and become part of the process going forward.